Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Elise Stefanik just unloads a full broadside into Kathy Hochul because she has been one of the worst governors in American history. Let's dive in.
Governor Hochul, on your first day in office, you signed Executive Order 1. Is that correct?
I believe it is.
And you extended this executive order not once, not twice, but 3 times, most recently January 16th of this year. Is that correct?
If that's what your facts show, I signed countless executive orders.
I would assume you'd know it's
laws.
Executive Order 1. And this is a continuation of your predecessor's sanctuary state policies, correct? Is included in that.
I want to be sure we are defining sanctuary state properly.
I'll define it for you. It is the policy of the state that state officers or employees shall not disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement. It goes on to say, law enforcement officers may not use resources, equipment, or personnel for the purpose of detecting and apprehending any individual suspected or wanted for violating a civil immigration office. Law enforcement officers have no authority in the state of New York to take any policy action solely because the person is an undocumented alien. That's a quote in your executive orders that you extended. Now, do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to get back to the first part
No,
of
I'm
your
asking a question. Do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to make sure you understand that this simply says that we will cooperate with ICE.
No, it does not say that. I read what it
We will
says, and let me talk to you about the results. Do you know who Sakir Akan is? You should, as the governor of New York State. Do you know?
Refresh my recollection.
He was an illegal migrant in New York. And do you know what crime he committed in addition to being here illegally?
No, I do not.
You do not. This was widely reported. He found a 15-year-old girl, threatened her with a metal pole, told her to get into the back seat of his car. He took her clothes off, and he violently her in Albany, New York. Do you know who Sebastian Zapita Khalil is?
I'm sure you'll tell me there's many cases, whether they're
These are
here-
high-profile cases.
Yes.
New Yorkers know about them, and you don't. So let's talk about Sebastian Zapita Khalil. Do you know who that is?
I don't have the specific details at my disposal, no.
Well, this is an illegal migrant in New York because of your sanctuary state policies. Do you know what crime he committed?
I'm not familiar at this moment.
I bet you're going to be familiar when I remind you. He found a sleeping woman on the subway, lit her on fire, and burned her alive. This is in Kathy Hochul's New York. And as I'm sure you are aware, and I'll remind you, that ICE issued an order to detain this violent criminal, but that was rejected by New York officials due to sanctuary state laws. Now, do you know who Raymond Rojas Basilio is?
I just want to say this. These crimes are horrific.
Because of
condemn
your
them,
because of
and I
your
would say
sanctuary state policies.
In all of these cases, we would work with ICE to remove
You
them.
did not in this case. They are
If they need
walking
our
on the
assistance.
streets because of your policies and your executive order that you signed 3 times. Now, Raymond Rojas Basilio, do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. I will
You don't
explain
know
to you
who
the
it is.
policies of New York. We cooperate with, I know you're just
You do
trying
not.
to.
You do not. Specifically,
miss-
ICE was told not to detain this individual, and he burned a woman alive on the New York subways in Kathy Hochul's New York. So I will keep on going. What about Raymond Rojas Basilio? Do you know who that is?
I'm going to tell you our overall policy, which will address all this.
I'll tell
We
you
do
who
not-
that is. He is an illegal who an 11-year-old in our state because, again, of your sanctuary state policies. This illegal was shielded from federal immigration enforcement and able to commit this heinous crime. And what about Wilson Castillo Diaz? Do you know who that
I am
is?
telling you this. We do cooperate fully with ICE in criminal prosecution. Our sanctuary
You're not advocating for
regulations
these victims.
only deal
This
with
is a
civil
5-year-old who was
civil
on Long
enforcement.
Island in Nassau County. You are not advocating on behalf of these victims. You are shielding illegals. Even in your opening statement,
That is
you
not true.
prioritize putting illegals first.
That is
Of young girls, beatings of NYPD cops by illegals who are here under Kathy Hochul's failed policies, burning New Yorkers alive. This is Kathy Hochul's New York. It's one of the many reasons why you're hemorrhaging support from hardworking New York
These are
families.
horrific crimes, and they're heartbreaking.
They're horrific crimes that are committed on your watch. You signed this executive order on your first day in office. You signed it again and again this January. We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
Rather than
the
going
chairman's-
after the viral moment, I suggest you
No,
look at
no,
the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers.
No.
Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders.
What I just witnessed can be described in no simpler terms than a literal face of evil. Kathy Hochul is evil. She is soulless. She does not care about these crimes that have happened on her watch. They don't happen in her neighborhoods. They don't happen to her friends. She doesn't care. I'm beyond stunned. I can't believe that it has gotten this bad. And I know that this has been a possibility. I know that Democrats think like this. I know that they act like this. But the malicious indifference to what has happened here with this blank stare of, I am not aware of that fact. I'm sure you're going to tell me, oh, did you get your media moment out of this? What is wrong with you? I apologize for raising the voice and getting a little histrionic, but how is this human? How is this human, ladies and gentlemen? How do you get to this point where you aren't just indifferent to what is going on in your own state, but you on day one sign an order to basically make New York State a sanctuary state, and then when these crimes happen under your watch, not only do you feign like you don't know that they're happening, because Kathy Hochul knows darn well what's going on. She's prepared for this. And so her body language is simply stay as calm as possible. Do not squirm in your seat. Do not show that this stuff is getting to you. And whatever you do, deflect as much as possible and feign ignorance. This is evil. This is straight evil. The litany of crimes that have happened under her watch. 3 high-profile cases in different parts of New York, by the way. Long Island and Albany, they aren't that close together. And she knows this. She knows. There's no way that Kathy Hochul doesn't know what's going on. And Elise Stefanik, I think, has been waiting for her moment to just lay into these ridiculous governors. When I've said on this channel time and time again that Democrats can't govern, I think I need to amend that statement. I think I need to change it to Democrats do not want to govern well. They do not want to protect their citizenry. They do not care about massive amounts of corruption. And they certainly don't care about illegal immigration that has happened in their state. And I bring this up constantly. Laken Riley, the man who slaughtered her, was originally, he came from Venezuela to New York City itself because he was able to abuse humanitarian aids in order to fly to the United States on someone else's dollar. And then he gets inside of New York City and he's kicked out of there to begin with because he kept on committing crimes there because this dude belongs behind bars. And now he is for life. It's sad that we had to get to that point, but New York City just didn't want to prosecute him. They basically let him out without bail, and then he is now, he then moved to with his friends and family that were in Athens, Clark County, Georgia. This is a pipeline. This is a problem, and Kathy Hochul knows it's a problem. She signed it into law and then is sitting before Congress with these blank, soulless eyes staring right back at you, kind of like this, and as monotone as possible, refuses to take responsibility for her ridiculous, erroneous actions. This is evil. I'm currently reading a book called And Your Conscience Never Bothered You. I bought it in the guardhouse of Auschwitz Camp 2, by the way. And it's just this shocking dive into the psyche of people that basically allowed such unspeakable evil to occur on their watch because they were okay with it. They kind of liked it. There's something masochistic, something sadistic about Kathy Hochul here. And again, I apologize for the rhetoric. I don't like getting this histrionic. I don't like what I'm saying. This is evil. And she's okay with it. Elise Stefanik, I think, is actually holding back here because she's someone from New York. She's someone that does represent that state. She does represent the taxpayers and the voters and her own constituents that are reeling under the policies of evil people like Kathy Hochul. There's a whole panel of people right now going on, and Tim Walz, as much as I despise him, I don't think he's evil. I think he is incredibly misguided. Pritzker, probably evil, but Kathy Hochul? That woman probably came to D.C. on a broom and a giant black hat. Okay? I still can't wrap my mind around this. That someone can be this malicious and this indifferent to the real problems of American citizens and then go back home and sleep at night. I still can't believe what I just saw. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.